You probably literally can't see me right now, but what the fuck is happening, man? Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm honestly going fucking crazy. I'm on track 8, the one, I don't know what it's called, man, but what the fuck? I don't have any, oh, I don't have any 3G. I can't look up the credits, but is this an Alk beat? Because those drums and that piano, oh my god, is this an Alk beat? Kendrick! I'm literally, oh my god, I'm the biggest dick rider in the world, but I don't care. I'm going crazy, man. This album is fucking amazing. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm like 8 tracks in. Oh my god, I just had to. I'm just freaking out. It's 2 in the morning. I'm out for a walk on a trail near my house, and I literally am just like screaming. What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Kendrick, no! Ah! I'm literally on the same song. It's called We Cry Together. And look, the whole album has been fucking amazing. Holy shit. But I don't know why this track is just fucking me up, bro. Oh my god. I just got to the part where she was like, go text that raggedy bitch and say that she's all that you got. I was like, what the fuck? Dude, this track is amazing, bro. Oh, you know, it's reminding me of like, it's like, I feel a lot of Eminem influence on this, because like the conversational style of like the two of them going back and forth reminds me of Guilty Conscience, but then like the way they're rapping reminds me of Kim, just like the way they sound like they're literally like crying as they're rapping, and it's so intense. But the way they're having this like fight, this argument, this conversation that's flowing so smoothly, but is also like still on beat and is still like a fucking fire ass song. What the fuck? Who thinks of this shit? What the fuck? I'm honestly, I'm a fucking maniac right now. Oh my god, what is happening? What? Oh my god. Guys. I'm the biggest loser, biggest nerd in town right now. I'm flipping my shit. Oh my god. I gotta chill. I gotta get back to this album, but oh my god! I'm just going crazy. I can't chill. Okay. Let's go. Let's get back. Guys, no, I'm literally on the same song. This, oh my god. Like, I didn't do a first reaction to this album because I wanted to just listen to it on my own. But like, I've been freaking this. If I did a first reaction, it would have been the most batshit you've ever seen me go, because I cannot chill out right now. And I just got to the part where Kendrick was like, fuck, I forget exactly what he said, but he was like, haha, I got you hollering out. And she was like, yeah, I do the same when we fuck. Like, guys, oh my god. I just feel reawakened, my soul. I haven't felt like this since To Pimp a Butterfly. It's happening again. He did it again. Oh my god. If anyone sees me right now, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is that guy's problem? Well, the problem is there's a new Kendrick album and it's so good. So good. Oh my god, and I'm only on track 8. And I've had to pause it 3 times to record 3 different videos because I've been falling over and I'm just, oh my god. Okay. What? I don't even know what to say. Oh! Kendrick got me out here sounding like fucking the Riddler from that one scene in the new Batman. Oh! I don't even know why I'm recording these. But fuck it, bro. Oh my god. I just finished my first listen of Kendrick Lamar's new album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I don't think I've ever done a video like this before in the, 6 years now I've been doing YouTube. I've never done a video like this where I just record some raw first thoughts after hearing an album, but I felt like doing this for a few reasons. First of all, I kind of just want to speak on this raw, off the top of my head, just what I kind of felt on that first listen. Obviously, this won't be super in-depth. I probably won't make this very long, and I'm going to have to sit with this a lot more to really fully grasp everything going on, because there's a lot going on this record. But I just want to do this and just give my pure thoughts before I see any discourse about this, because with an album from Kendrick Lamar, or really from any artist of his stature, but especially him, there's going to be so much discourse and debate and all these stupid fucking bullshit online talking points. I mean, like, I'm not gonna hopefully be exposed to too much of that anyways, because I've gotten off Twitter the last few months. Best decision ever, because that place is just a cesspool of bullshit and people debating the dumbest fucking shit. It rots your brain. And I know that it's gonna be on fire right now with people talking about this album. I don't want to see any of it, but I feel like I'll still see some of the discourse related to it, like on other platforms, I don't know, or on YouTube when I hear people talk about this. But before I hear any of the bullshit, there's going to be so much bullshit, I can already tell. I just want to talk about this album, just unrelated to any of that, just without anyone else's interpretation. I just had the most incredible first album listening experience that I've had since, not to be too on the nose, but it's just me being honest, since To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly came out when I was 13 years old. I mean, it was like a couple weeks before my 14th birthday, but around that time, and it shattered my world. It blew me away. It was like a religious experience. I'm not a religious person, but that was like as close as I got, I think, in my whole life to having a religious experience. I remember I was so hyped up. I love Section 80, love Good Kid, Mad City. That was when I was really young and just first getting into hip hop. I had so much excitement and hype for that album. I was like, how can he ever top Good Kid, Mad City? And then when I got what we got, I just remember, like, the day that album came out, it came out like 2 days or so, I think I remember, earlier than it was supposed to have came out. And I remember just being surprised by it in the middle of the day, like, oh my god, To Pimp a Butterfly just dropped, like, it's finally out. And I remember I ran downstairs and told my family, because on our family calendar, I had written, I think it's March the 16th, like, I just remember that date for some reason. I think that was the day it was supposed to come out, on a Friday, and I'd written on my family's calendar on March 16th, like, To Pimp a Butterfly, new Kendrick album, like, exclamation, exclamation. I mean, I was literally treating that day like it was gonna be a holiday. It was the biggest deal in the world to me. It was going to be the first time I would get to experience a Kendrick album dropping, because I first heard Good Kid, Mad City maybe 6 months after it came out, and that was when I was first getting into Kendrick. So To Pimp a Butterfly was the first one where I got to listen to it the day it came out. I got to experience the build-up and the hype for it, and it was just, I was beyond excited. So when it dropped early, I ran downstairs, told my family, I was like, guys, the new Kendrick Lamar album just dropped. I know none of you really know what that means, but this is very important to me, and nobody please talk to me for the next hour and 16 minutes. I'm going to be up in my room. And that was that. I went back upstairs. I remember turning off the lights, sitting down on my bed in the dark, putting in my headphones, having no other distractions, and just purely listening to that album for what it was. And again, it blew my mind, shattered my world. I can't say this about many albums. The only other one that comes to mind I can say this about is some rap songs. But To Pimp a Butterfly, like, literally changed my life. Like, not just in a hyperbolic fashion, but in the sense that I know for a fact I would not be the same person I am today. My life would not have gone in the same direction it did if it were not for To Pimp a Butterfly. Like, that album was monumental around the whole world to so many people, but I was one of those people, you know what I mean? Like, after that day, I was never the same, and it just, I had never, until today, really re-experienced that feeling, but today I did the same thing. I knew Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers was coming out at 12 o'clock Eastern, which where I live is 1:30 a.m., and it was like 1:10. I was counting down the minutes at that point. 1:25. Oh my god, 5 minutes until it comes out. 1:28. Oh my god, we're right around the corner. 1:30 comes. Oh shit, it's not on Apple Music yet. It was on Apple Music at like 1:32. A couple minutes later. Oh my god, it's here. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Look at the features. Who's on the album? Baby Keem, Nice, Sampha, Ghostface Killah, Summer Walker, Kodak Black. Yes, Kodak. Like, when I saw Kodak, guys, I was extremely excited, because if you if you've watched this channel for a long time, you might know I have hated Kodak in the past. I have said he's my least favorite rapper ever, and I meant, like, that's how I felt. Like, I hated Kodak so much. I hated his music, man. And, like, I thought he was the fucking worst ever. But literally the past, like, 2 weeks maybe, I had a complete, like, it just, he clicked with me the past 2 weeks, because his song Super Gremlin, which is huge right now, I just, every time I heard that, it was like one of those songs where it's by an artist you don't like, so you kind of just, like, pretend you don't like it, because, you know, when it's that big and it's played everywhere, like, when it's being played at a party or something, you're kind of just like, like, you act like you're too good for it. But then just, like, over time, the more I heard it, I was like, okay, I can't deny it, this is fire as fuck. And eventually I just accepted it. I was like, bro, I love this song, like, Super Gremlin, it's amazing. And then after that, I was kind of like, okay, maybe I owe it to myself to give Kodak a second chance. And I started going back to some of his old mixtapes, some of his old projects, and it just clicked with me. I was like, this guy is one of the best rappers of the last decade. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. I literally, you know, you don't have to agree. I'm saying for me, I understand why Kodak is as big as he is, why he has had longevity, and why someone with the magnitude of Kendrick fucking Lamar would want to feature him on his album, you know? So, like, I really have just been playing him a lot these past few weeks, and he's just, like, leaped up in, like, my opinion of him. And it's so funny, because I was literally talking to my friend a couple days ago. We were talking about this album coming out, and we were talking about, like, what features we expected, or if we thought there would be features, or, like, what kind of features and all that stuff. And I said to him, I was like, honestly, if I could have any feature on this whole project, I would want it to be Kodak Black. Because, you know, just because I'd been playing him so much the past few weeks, and him really growing on me, and me starting to actually think, like, this guy is amazing. Like, not just, oh, he's good. Like, I actually think he's a fucking special artist in the rap world. And I was like, you know, a lot of Kendrick's fans are not as big as, like, a trap fan as I am, I guess. You know, like, a lot of people who are, like, Kendrick fans, like, they would hate artists like Future, Chief Keef, Lil Uzi, Young Thug, Playboi Carti, Kodak, like, and all these guys. You know, some of my favorite artists, you guys on this channel know that I love, you know, trap music and cloud rap and all that stuff. And so, like, in my head, I was like, I really want Kendrick to have an artist from that lane on his album, just because, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter, obviously, if everyone likes Kodak, if everyone likes it, but for someone of Kendrick's stature in, like, the conscious hip-hop lane to just, like, show the respect to an artist like Kodak, or if he had, you know, Carti or Future or any of those kind of artists on his album, I feel like it does a lot to solidify the reputation of those guys, because then it gets to the point where, you know, people may not like them, but they can't really deny that they actually do have talent, that they actually have respect in the industry. Because that's the thing about all those kind of trap artists, like, the snobs who call them mumble crap and who just, like, act like they have no talent and, like, their music isn't even worth paying attention to, all the artists they like Kendrick or Earl or J. Cole or all these conscious rappers, they actually fuck with the trap artists, because even though they don't make trap music, they still respect good rappers and good artists, and they understand that just because it's different from conscious hip-hop doesn't mean it's still not good. And that's always been the weirdest shit to me. It's like, people act like they're so high and mighty because they don't like trap music and because they listen to conscious rap, and meanwhile all the dudes they listen to will openly talk about how some of their favorite artists are trap artists, how much they respect trap music, etc., etc. So, I mean, this is kind of a little bit of an unrelated rant, but I was hoping for an artist like Kodak to be on here, because just as a fan of that kind of music, I just like the idea of it being co-signed in that way by someone like Kendrick. And because I was in this big Kodak phase, and I just thought out of all the artists I could think of in that lane, I just felt like Kodak would fit the best on a Kendrick album, and it happened. And Silent Hill was a great fucking song, and Kodak gave a great fucking verse. So I was extremely happy with how that played out. But anyways, getting away from just talking about Kodak Black, this is supposed to be a video about Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, I know. But look, guys, I don't know what the reception of this album is going to be. Will it be a Good Kid, Mad City or To Pimp a Butterfly, where everyone kind of just unanimously agrees it's the best album of the year? Or will it be a Damn, where people are split and fighting and being fucking annoying and just arguing about it nonstop, and it's not as clear-cut of a adoration for the album. I don't know, and that's, like I said, why I'm recording this before the discourse. I don't care. I don't want to know. I don't care what anyone else thinks about this, because for me, I have not heard an album that is as much of a perfection of its craft as this one is in so long. Like, for me, when I listen to this, all I can think is just like, Kendrick has mastered his craft. Like, this guy, at this point, you can't not expect perfection. You can't not expect greatness. You can't not expect a masterpiece from him, because he won't allow himself to drop anything less than that. Like, he is always going to push himself to release the most album he possibly can. And that's how this was for me right from the opening track. I think it's called United in Grief. It comes in. At first, it just has these kind of layered vocals singing this little mantra that gets repeated throughout the album. And then it kind of comes in a little more slow. And then all of a sudden, you get these like noisy, weird, very glitchy sounds, like kind of moving around your headphones. And I was just like, whoa, like Kendrick is going weird on this one. But then the beat changes like 80 times throughout the track. It was such... I've never heard a beat like that I've never heard a song like that in my life. Like, that first song alone, by the time that song was over, like, I had to pause I had to catch my breath. Like, I was just thinking to myself, like, this is the first song? Like, that song alone is better than every album I've heard in the past 5 years. Like, I was speechless. I was going crazy. I was watching the Suns Mavericks game, and the Suns were getting blown out. I was like, okay, whatever. It's going to game 7. Like, it was not an interesting game by the third and fourth quarter. So I just turned it off early because the Kendrick album was out. I went downstairs in my basement and again turned off all the lights, and I was just there, and I was literally like bouncing off the walls. Like, I was actually like running across the room and like slapping like the couch and just like jumping in the air. Like, I was just having this visceral reaction. I just could not believe what was happening. I mean, like, obviously I'm a huge Kendrick fan. Like, I'm I'm a sucker for, like, I'm one of those stereotypical stans, you know, when it comes to this guy here. Like, Kendrick, I mean, sure, probably more than most people, I'm ready to freak out at a Kendrick song, but I didn't expect this. I as high as my expectations are, I didn't expect this. And that song, like, it took me from like, oh my God, I'm so excited, to literally, I didn't even feel like a normal person. Like, I felt insane. Like, I was just cackling like a madman, like you heard in those videos that I was recording on my walk. Like, I literally, I felt like I just lost control of myself. I mean, it was insane. And it just kept going. Every track, it went to N95. And it came in with this more like dancey kind of synth beat. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And like, this is dope. And then it changed up again. Like, the production across this whole album is so dynamic. It doesn't even do it justice. It's a fluid moving being at all times. Like, it's as volatile as Kendrick is. It's so unpredictable. I don't, like, sure, there's lots of glitchy hip-hop out there. There's lots of progressive beats in hip-hop out there. There's lots of beats that build on each other and aren't just a loop throughout the whole track, but not like this, man. Not like this. Not in the way it's done. Like, I understand why this took 5 years to put out, because you can't make this in 6 months. You can't. This is so much care, so much effort, so much attention to detail. That attention to detail is probably the best way to describe it, because there's no filler, there's no laziness, there's no just like coasting along. It's all, every fucking second is just perfectly planned out, and you feel it. You feel that when you hear this album. You just, it leaves me like this. I lost for words. I mean, it kept going. Like I said, Worldwide Steppers, the way he was opening up about cheating on his girlfriend, his wife, I think, like, who he has kids with. I've never heard, I mean, Kendrick has been personal his whole career, so I don't want to say I've never heard him get this personal, but the way he talks about women on this song and the whole album, I mean, that's a huge theme on this album, is infidelity, his views on women, how his views on women reflect his own masculinity. I mean, if I do a full, more in-depth review on this at some point, that's going to be a huge thing to talk about, is just how femininity plays into this album, and with a lot of the features too. I mean, that is just one of the biggest themes across this whole project is just Kendrick's interaction with femininity, and again how it affects him and his own views on gender and the world. And like that is the first song where you really get a lot of that, and he just goes the most in depth into it, and it was really harrowing. I don't really feel like I've heard that side of Kendrick either. I mean, I feel like throughout a lot of his music, like, and throughout a lot of his career, he's kind of portrayed himself, maybe not even intentionally, but you just felt like he would be a guy who is like more solid, maybe, who's not like fucking around, who's not out here acting like a Future, you know, just like fucking girls at his shows just to, you know, ease the pain, just because he has such an empty soul that he needs all these women around him to make him feel better about himself. Like, you didn't get that vibe from Kendrick, at least I didn't. But on this song, he's basically saying, I'm no better than everyone else, I have those same vices, I you know, I've cheated on my girlfriend multiple times. And the way he also talks about fucking white girls on that song, about having sex with white girls, and just how the racial dynamics of that, and like how it makes him feel after he does it, like, I don't know, like, that shit might be controversial, I can't lie. Like, that's one of the reasons that I want to avoid the discourse is a verse like that, where he was talking about his experiences having sex with white girls. But for me, like, just the way he does it, right? I mean, it's like a real thing, like, that's a real thing, you know? I mean, Kendrick has touched on a lot of different aspects of like racial politics and racism and all that kind of stuff, but this is an aspect I haven't heard him or anyone talk about, especially this deep. I mean, you may get jokey one-liners about black rappers fucking white girls, but you've, at least unless you want to point me somewhere, I don't know, but I've never heard someone go in about it like that, and just talking about how it affects his self-esteem and makes him question his own blackness. Like, that was crazy to me. And then Father Time. Good God, I said this video wouldn't be long. I lied my fucking ass off, man, because I can't shut up about this album, because it's Kendrick Lamar, and he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss. I don't know what else to say, but fuck, man, Father Time. The way he uses the concept of daddy issues on this song, another way that it plays into the gender politics, because here's the thing, when you hear the term daddy issues, who is that always used for? Whenever you hear the term daddy issues, it's always made by a girl talking about herself, I have daddy issues, or a man talking about a girl, yeah, she has daddy issues. But overall, let's be real, the gender politics at play with the term daddy issues is 95% of the time used to talk about women. And so what I loved right off the bat about this song was how Kendrick kept saying about himself that he has daddy issues. And I picked up on it right away. I was like, I have never heard, especially a straight man, talk about himself as having daddy issues. And it fascinated me from the jump. And then the deeper he went in the song, talking about it and talking about the effect that his father had on his life, it was blowing me away. And then at the end of the song, I forget exactly what he says, but he says something basically like, before you criticize a girl for having daddy issues, focus on your own. Like, kind of calling out his fellow men and being like, you want to put down all these women saying they have daddy issues, bitch, you do too. That's what he's fucking saying. And I was like, this is brilliant. Fuck. Damn. Jeez. I don't know, man. Who else is making a song like that? Who the fuck else is making a song like Father Time? Nobody! No one! You're gonna have to bear with me with this screaming. I'm losing my mind a slight bit. Then we got, you guys know, you guys saw We Cry Together, featuring Taylor Page. I've never heard of her, but she was incredible. Incredible! There's some good features on this album. She was the best to me by far. But the way, like I said, I got kind of Guilty Conscience and Kim vibes. Like, I felt the Eminem influence. But other than that, oh my God. And I was right, by the way. I did look it up. That is an Alchemist beat. It's easy to tell if you listen to enough Alchemist, but it doesn't change the fact that the beat was amazing. But man, just the whole story and concept of that song. I guess you guys saw at the beginning how crazy I was going. So I think that reaction is probably going to speak more than anything I can say. But I'm still just blown away by what that song did, what he did with that song. and just, oh my god, there was just so many lines, so many moments. And I'll tell you though, I didn't talk about this in any of my videos, the most brilliant part of that song, and that at the end, it fucked me up, man, because the whole song, right, is like, again, it's an argument between him and this girl, but it's like done in rap conversation form, so fucking dope. And the whole song, like the chorus is basically him saying, fuck you, bitch. And then she says back, fuck you, N-word. And they just keep saying that back and forth over and over again. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, N-word. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you, N-word. Over and over and over and over again. Just saying it back and forth to each other. And like the first 2 times they do it, it's done as a fight. Like there's like they're fighting the whole song, right? It's like, fuck you, like back and forth. But at the end of the song, as they're done, like the fight turns to them having sex with each other, and then they start saying like fuck you, B-word, fuck you, N-word, over and over again, but it's in the context of like they're having sex. And just the way you flip that, like from the first time and the second time of arguing to then they're having sex, and just the double meaning of fuck you, I just like I died. My soul left my body. I collapsed to the ground. I was like, who does that? Who does that? Kendrick. Excuse the dip in camera quality here. My phone just ran out of storage, but thankfully, like Kevin Gates, I got 2 phones. That was corny as fuck. But anyways, yeah, I'm recording on my other phone now, which is like an older generation iPhone, so it's gonna look worse. Also, sadly, I didn't notice it stopped recording until like 10 minutes after it stopped recording. So I just talked about a bunch of songs, but it wasn't picked up, so I'll just quickly go over those again. Purple Hearts, all I said about Purple Hearts, I was like, that was my personal least favorite track on the record, but it was still so good. And if you can say a song like Purple Hearts is the worst song on your record, really that kind of says that your record is fucking incredible. And it is. To me, this is a absolutely amazing album. Ghostface killed that track, Summer Walker did, so like big fan of that track even if it was my least favorite. Count Me Out, I like on the chorus the way he's doing his vocals, kind of reminds me of what he was doing on a track like God from Damn, where you kind of see a little bit of like influence from the whole like Trippie Redd, Lil Uzi, like Chief Keef style of doing your vocals in that weird melodic stretched out way. There's a lot of points on this album where you kind of see Kendrick's influence from trap artists. There was a song, I forget which one, but he was doing this flow that I'm pretty sure was like an interpolation of a flow Future did once, because he was ending every bar like he was just talking normally for the whole bar, like da 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 da, but then at the end of every bar he'd raise his voice super high, like da 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 da, sleep, like he'd just go up to this like crazy high register. And I forget which song, but I know Future has used that exact flow and rhyme scheme before, so I'm like 99% sure Kendrick was like interpolating and referencing that. And he also shouts out Future at the start of Savior, which I just found it funny the way it went, because a lot of mainstream modern rap fans, they consider like the holy trinity of like the current rap scene to be Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick. And like I don't personally agree with that, just because I'm not the biggest Drake or J. Cole fan. I respect both of them, but I just not a big fan of their music personally. Maybe if you're just talking most popular, most relevant artists, I can understand that a bit more of them being the holy trinity, but I still wouldn't fully agree, because there's other artists who you can argue is probably bigger than like J. Cole, for example. But anyways, like that is just, people always talk about Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake as like being this big three. And so at the start of Savior, Kendrick's talking about himself, then he starts talking about J. Cole, and in my head I was like, okay, so next he's going to say something about Drake, but instead he said something about Future, and I just started laughing to myself. I was like, that's the new big three now, like Drake's out of the picture, like it's J. Cole, Future, and Kendrick, which personally I would be a bigger fan of, because I like Future a lot more than Drake, but that's just me fucking around. But I did just find that funny, and once again, I just like kind of this crossover of the quote-unquote conscious and trap worlds. I liked Kendrick shouting out Future like that, because even this, just the divide between like conscious rappers or like boom bap rappers or lyrical, some people would call them lyrical rappers, the divide between that and like trap artists is like, I think it's so artificial at the end of the day. It's all hip-hop. They bring different things to the world of hip-hop, but that's why hip-hop is so beautiful, is because it offers so much variety, so many different sounds. In my personal opinion, it offers more variety than any other genre on earth. And so by him like shouting out Future like that, and by having Kodak on this album and just kind of like melting that divide away, I love that. I think it's good for hip-hop for these two seemingly separate worlds to actually like be revealed as actually it's all the same world. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we artificially create these to be like two different worlds within hip-hop, but really it's all one, you know what I'm saying? And I like how Kendrick is kind of contributing to that, because I mean, look, Kendrick is a big fan of a lot of trap artists like Kodak, like Future. He's worked with guys like Rich the Kid, Travis Scott. Like he obviously is a big fan of and respects a lot of these artists. Like I said, he's clearly been influenced by them with some of the flows and vocal deliveries he does. So I need people to stop pretending that like someone like Kendrick is like, oh, way above like a Future, or way above a Lil Baby, or way above a Lil Durk. Like I need people to stop pretending, because Kendrick himself would be like, no bro, like those guys are dope as hell. Like they're in the same lane as me for a reason. Like stop putting them down just to big me up, you know what I mean? I really loved the Savior interlude, like what Baby Keem did on there. I'm not gonna lie, I assume Kendrick wrote his verse, but hey, Baby Keem performed it well, and whoever wrote the verse, it was a really good verse, so I don't really care, because at the end of the day, the end product, very awesome. And then the track Savior in full, that was one of the tracks where he kind of went the deepest on the social commentary. There's a lot of social commentary on this thing. He's talking a lot on the early songs, kind of about like cancel culture, which I know people find that to be a cringy term, and the way that it used, yeah, it has become a term that's easy to roll your eyes at, but I do think it speaks to a larger issue in society today of just the tribalism going on and people not wanting to have conversations, not having any interest in having empathy for other people, just wanting to shut everyone down. And I don't think it's a political thing. I think everybody on all sides of the aisle does that. And I think, you know, he's even mocking the idea of sides, like the whole political spectrum divide. You know, he's kind of like saying it's all bullshit in a way. I mean, not very directly, but I just kind of take that from some of his bars on this album, just how that divide, kind of like the divide between conscious and mumble rap, how it's more like fabricated than reality. And, you know, a lot of times people on the quote-unquote right and lefts would have a lot more in common than either of them would like to agree, and how people need to stop putting each other in these camps. And just how, you know, a lot of people are scared to actually speak their mind nowadays because of the quote-unquote cancel culture reaction. And it's a very complicated discussion, and I don't think Kendrick necessarily has all the answers. But I think what I like about it is that, you know, he doesn't try to offer any answers, but what he does is just talk about how it's affected him as like a massive artist with a big platform where people watch his every move and, you know, try and always see what he's doing, where he knows where if he did something, you know, controversial, that it would cause a big backlash, that people would try and quote-unquote cancel him. And just hearing how the modern times we are in, how we are going further in this direction of tribalism and everyone hating each other, and just like how social media worsens all these divides. Hearing how it's affected him as someone in the position he's in, I found that to be extremely fascinating. I really liked him talking about it from that angle. But back to Savior, he touches on capitalism, he touches on the COVID vaccines, like the whole Kyrie Irving part. Like, I just thought it was really dope, everything he was digging into there. Can't even remember it all off the top of my head because he talked about so much, but like, I just remember the whole time kind of sitting there like, whoa, like he was just going in on so much in such a short amount of time. It was kind of all over the place, but I think that also fits in to a lot of this album. Like, you know, you think of what he's saying on, I think it was the last track, Mirror, where he keeps saying like, there's so much in my head, like I can't keep track of it all. Like, that kind of makes sense with the way he's rapping on Savior, because he's just talking about all this different issues in the world, all this different things going on, and it just feels like this stream of consciousness where, yeah, it feels like there is a lot on his mind and he's just getting it out in this kind of manic, scrambled way. And then we get to the song that I think is probably my favorite on the album. There's two that I would say on first listen was just like, they were the ones. It was Auntie's Diaries and Mother I Sober. And I can tell they were the ones that hit me the hardest on first listen, because they both made me cry. Especially like Auntie's Diary, I started crying near the end, but like Mother I Sober, I can't lie, like I was like bawling. I was like weep. Like, that song was so powerful to me. I was like, the whole song, I was like wiping my I was like crying hard, man. Like one really hit me. But Auntie's Diary was maybe the most unexpected song on here for me in terms of the content. And this is another one where just like I was talking about with the discourse, I think the discourse about this song in particular is gonna be like unbearable. I like, because again, in this cancel culture society, there's no room for nuance, there's no room for gray area, you know what I mean? Like, you have to get it right all the time or else fuck you, you're a bad person. And like, what he's talking about on this song, the first part is about his aunt, and I don't know how much of this is real or how much of this is him playing a character. Like, I haven't researched this, I don't even know if like the information's available, but at least the perspective he's taking on the track is that his aunt, or what used to be his aunt is now his uncle, and you know that his aunt sorry, I'm sorry, but the whole he's talking about his, oh my god, I can't speak. He's talking about his aunt being transgender, and the way he's speaking about it is why I think it will be controversial, is because what Kendrick does is that he keeps changing the pronouns. Sometimes he's referring to this person as she, and sometimes as he. And it's not like he starts off saying she and then transitions to he, you know, to kind of represent the transition that this person went through as a transgender person. He goes back and forth. Like, he starts off saying a lot of she, then he says a lot of he, and I thought he was just going to stay with that, but then he says she again, and then there's some lines where he literally will go she, then he, but talking about the same person. And like, he just keeps changing the pronouns back and forth, and I think that is maybe gonna make a lot of people mad, you know, because, you know, saying that he's misgendering this person, but I think that kind of misses the point, because a lot of what this song is about is him confronting his own ignorance, and I feel like him using the pronouns like that is just a reflection of that. I think that's what he's trying to get across. I think he's trying to get across that he loves this person, he loves his uncle, he loves this person, and he keeps saying, like, he understands now. That's what he keeps saying. He's like, my auntie's a man, I understand now. Like, he's saying, he's thinking back to when this person still lived as a woman, and he's, you know, seeing all these signs of like stereotypical masculine male behavior, and he's saying, it makes sense to me. I can see that this person at their core is really a man. But again, with the pronouns, he keeps going back and forth with them, and I think that is just reflecting his own internal struggle to break his conception of gender. And that's why I thought this track was so brilliant. And I don't think people, I don't know, I assume people will, just because I know how people are. I don't know, because I haven't seen yet, but I assume people are going to get mad at him again for like misgendering. But I think, again, I just think that misses the point, because I think the whole point is that he sees this person as a man, even though they were born and lived the first part of their lives as a woman. He sees that they're a man, he sees in their core that they're a man, and he believes that now, but he's struggling to shake his own ignorance. He's struggling to break out of the conceptions and the confines of gender that society raised him with. He's struggling to change his view. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people are going with right now, because transgender people have existed since the dawn of humanity. That's nothing new. They've always been here, and you can never erase their history. But for the longest time, people tried to, you know, suppress or deny or not talk about their existence. And, you know, a lot of people nowadays will say stupid shit like, oh, like all of a sudden there's all these transgender people. It's not like, no, they were always here. They just weren't allowed to talk about it before. They weren't allowed to be themselves. So as a society, we're kind of going through this reckoning with transgender people, you know, where people who aren't transgender, people who are cisgender and who don't understand, are needing to shake their ignorance. Some people are unwilling to do it. Other people want to, but are having a hard time. For some people, it's been easier. And I just feel like this is Kendrick going through that himself. But what I feel like is so clear is that his heart is in the right place. Like, that is what feels so clear to me about this song, is he may be confronting his own ignorance, he may not be using the right pronouns throughout the whole song, but it's not coming from a malicious place. It's coming from a place of trying to change, trying to understand. And then the same thing happens in the next part of the song, where he talks about his cousin, who was born as a man and is now a woman. And again, like, he keeps referring to his cousin as sometimes a woman, sometimes a man. Like, he keeps going back and forth. And again, I just feel like it's not only him confronting his ignorance and his conceptions of gender, but I feel like that's also him breaking down the concept of pronouns and gender, and, you know, he and she being so rigidly used, you know, based on chromosomes and genitalia. I feel like, in a way, like, him, for both these people, he's talking about one person who was born female, transitioned to male, another person born male, transitioned to female, and for both of them, he keeps interchangeably using male and female pronouns. To me, that is not him being malicious, not him invalidating those people. It's, like I've said multiple times, it's him confronting his ignorance and trying to change and his conceptions of gender, but I feel like it's also him kind of making the point of, you know, modern gender theory, is that these are just words we've invented to kind of box people in to these specific boxes. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, we're all people. Whatever pronoun I use for you, like he's not saying he won't use the pronoun they want. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like in real life he's gonna call these people by their proper pronouns, but I think by him using it interchangeably in this song, he's saying these pronouns are just made up at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I see you both as beautiful people. I love you so much. I treat you with respect, and I see you for who you are. So I feel like the way he's using pronouns on this song, I feel like there's a duality to it. There's him trying to change within himself, him struggling to change his perception of, like, you know, viewing people for the gender they actually are instead of the gender they were assigned with. And then there's him just breaking down the meaning of pronouns, like, whether I call this person a he or she, it's still the same person, and he or she, like, I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly, because when I'm hearing myself speak right now, I feel like it's not coming out how I want, but I just feel like he's showing how those words are not as rigid as, like, a lot of more conservative people would claim, you know, not to be that guy, but just to throw him out as the token conservative. You know, Ben Shapiro would act that he is like a law of nature, that anyone with a fucking penis and XY chromosomes, it's a law of nature that that person is a he. And if you call someone with a penis and XY chromosomes a she or a they, then you're breaking the laws of nature. And it's fucking stupid, because that's just not even remotely true, because he is a word that we invented to categorize people and to socialize them into a specific gender category. I mean, if, like, just getting super philosophical with it, right? Like, it is purely a social construct. Like, I know people roll their eyes when people say gender is a social construct, but that's just literally true. And I just feel like, again, I think that's what I'm trying to say, is by him switching the pronouns, he's just showing that it's all a construct, and that what people feel in their heart, that is the real them. So I don't think that people should take this as being disrespectful to transgender people, because I personally think it's literally the exact opposite. And the other thing on this song is that there's a couple parts where he says the F-A-G-G-O-T word a bunch of times, like over and over and over again. And I feel like people might be upset with that, but the way he's using it, again, is it's him talking about his ignorance. It's literally him saying, in middle school, we used to say that word all the time, you know, F word, F word, F word, F. Like, he just says it over and over again. But guys, like, this is art. Like, art is not always have to be pleasant and politically correct. Like his point, like, at the end of the song, what he says is, like, if you use that word F-A-G-G-O-T, like, as a straight person, like, specifically with this, he's talking to, you know, the black community, he's talking to people in his community, he's saying, it's like, well, if you as a straight person think it's fine for you to say, like, F-A-G-G-O-T, like, how would you feel about a white girl saying the N-word? So, like, literally his point with the song is that it's not cool to use that word, that it's not cool to, you know, call people that, or to use that word jokingly or immaturely. And people might be like, okay, then why did he use it? Because this is art, and in art, you're gonna make the point a lot more poignantly if you actually go ahead and say the word. Like, I'm based on this song, how can you conceive that Kendrick is walking around using this word in his day-to-day life? He's clearly not. He clearly has a lot of respect for the LGBT community, and this song literally proves that. But by using that word in the song, it's just him, like, really making you feel the point. It's emphasizing it. Like, again, this is art. Like, it doesn't have to be politically correct. I don't know. I just hate the discourse. I hate that there can be a song like this that clearly comes from such a pure, positive place that is like literally confronting the ignorance that straight people have, specifically in the black community, but all straight people, that people have towards the LGBT community. He's literally confronting that ignorance and talking about how it's important to grow past that immaturity. But just because he does it in a way that's not politically correct, I already know he's going to get slammed for it. Even though, again, the whole point is that he's trying to move from being... anyways, I feel like I'm repeating myself now. I feel like I'll let this go. I'll let this go. I probably sound really annoying right now, but I just want you guys to try, just have a big heart, have a lot of empathy, and just like, don't just, you know, shut down or get angry at someone just at the first mention of something that seems, you know, politically incorrect. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just listening to this album and you hear him say, you know, F-A-G-G-O-T, and you're like, what? Like, how, like, that's just not the right reaction, okay? I don't think people should be running around using that word. There's a reason why I'm not saying it. I think it's a nasty word, not because there's some objective law of nature that combination of letter, you know, some people get so stupid with it. They're like, it's just a word. It's just a random combination of sounds. What's so bad about it? It's not about that. It's about the history of the word, the impact of that word on a marginalized community. So, like, I am not out here advocating for saying F-A-G-G-O-T. Again, there's a reason I keep spelling it. But context is everything. Like I said, there's no room for nuance anymore, but there needs to be. Because the nuance of this song, it is not used maliciously whatsoever. It is used in a very artistic way, in a very poetic way, to make a really powerful fucking song. Like, again, this song made me cry. Like, I was so just moved by the way he was talking about it. Because, again, it comes from such a pure place, and just how he's talking about these people and his love for them, and how he's, you know, overcoming his ignorance and seeing them for who they are. Like, it moved me so much. I thought it was beautiful, and I just, again, not to keep coming back to the discourse, but I didn't think about this while listening to the album, but when I was done, I saw one thing. I went into my Discord server that I'm in with a few friends, and I just saw, they just shared like one tweet that someone said about it, and already I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no. I was like, I need to record my first thoughts about this before I get hit with like the whole fucking discourse about this album, because this is, no. Like, it kind of like, I was just like, I didn't understand, because when I heard it, again, it felt so pure, progressive, wholesome. And then I see this take where it's like, Kendrick said F-A-G-G-O-T and he misgendered people, ah! That was a really cringy, I'm sorry, that was cringe. That was cringe. I feel sick that I did that. But you know what I mean, like, I'm not trying to mock people. Well, I'm not trying to, like, I understand why it's sensitive for people. Like, I'm not trying to, like, shit on people if, you know, they're sensitive to it. But all I'm saying is, like, I just really think that people need to just, like, take a deep breath and really see what's going on with this song, because I think that that's the wrong reaction to have to it. Anyways, I think I spent literally 12 minutes talking about that song. Jesus Christ, I need to shut up. So I'll just talk about the next song that, again, made me cry my fucking eyes out, Mother I Sober. The way he delivers his lyrics on this song, just with this defeated, pained, quiet, intimate delivery, and like the way it's mixed, you just hear like the imperfections in his voice, and it's just like, it just bled into my soul, just like all the pain in this song, and like the really dour, downtrodden piano instrumental. It just it evoked everything that he was trying to make me feel. It was one of those instances where like the delivery by an artist is incomprehensibly perfect for like the lyrical content, and just like the sound of the track was enough to make me fucking cry. And then when he was talking about, you know, seeing his mother beaten and bruised, talking about, you know, people in his family accused his cousin of molesting him, and he kept denying it, but they didn't believe him because they thought he was lying because he was scared of his cousin. But in reality, his cousin didn't molest him, but was still treated by the rest of the family, an outcast, as if he did it, and him reckoning with how he feels guilty because he knows he wasn't assaulted or raped or touched by him, and then he's still seeing how the rest of his family is treating his cousin, and he's trying to tell them, no guys, he didn't, but they're not listening to him. And he just dives into so much personal family drama on this song. And again, I like Auntie Diaries, I don't know if this is actually him talking about his own life. I think it is. That's how I take it. But the other thing about Kendrick is throughout his music, he's always played different characters. I mean, think of like Keisha's song, right? And I mean, in that one, sure, he talks about it third person. But there's been other times in his career where he's talked first person, but he's actually speaking from another character, like Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, where he talks about the sister of Keisha from, you know, that song. And then he does other verses from the first person perspective of some other people. So he's done that before in his career where he talks as if it's him, but he's actually talking about other people. So with some of these songs, I take it as him talking about himself because it feels like he is, but maybe on further listens I'll see it's not him. But whoever's perspective he's talking about on this song broke my heart. Just such a moving, powerful piece of music. And then the way things ended with Mirror, like, like to come off Mother I Sober, which again was more depressing and downtrodden, and this one was still like very emotional in tone, but it was a little more uplifting. And the chorus on this thing just really, really hit me. It's just him singing, I choose me, I'm sorry, over and over again, over these grand strings, these big clapping drums. It just has such a grand orchestral finish to the album. I mean, perfect close. Like, this album had the perfect opener and the perfect close. I mean, everything else in between was pretty perfect too, don't get me wrong, but just like, fuck, he knows how to close and open an album. That is, I mean, unfortunately, not a lot of guys do. I mean, they'll treat the intro track like it's the same as like the middle track, but if you're really trying to craft a front-to-back album the way Kendrick does, like, it takes a lot of skill and artistry. You know, I would never be able to do it. I mean, well, there's a lot that Kendrick does I wouldn't be able to do. Pretty much everything. But I'm saying, even if I was just like, even if I had the musical talent and I was like just putting together an album, I don't think I would be as good as he is at knowing like what tracks to end with, what tracks to start with, and how it fits the narrative. I mean, he's just so incredible. I mean, in general, not just ending and starting albums, but just the way he plans out his albums from like every step of the way. Again, like I said, attention to detail. He just plans everything out so meticulously. That's why all his albums have such a clear and powerful narrative that is also usually super layered and complex. Like, you know, it'll be obvious like on To Pimp a Butterfly or on Damn. Like, both those albums obviously have a story, but you're not going to fully understand the story or narrative until you listen to those albums 10, 20 times. I mean, I still, Damn is probably his most complicated album to date. I mean, I never liked it when it came out. It's finally grown on me. I think it's a fucking, once again, masterpiece, because Kendrick does nothing but drop masterpieces. But even now when I listen to Damn, like, I feel like I understand like half of it, but there's still like a lot of it that, I mean, that is a complex album narratively. It's amazing, but, you know, Kendrick is just fucking genius when it comes to putting together an album, like, on the whole. Like, not only are his individual songs mind-blowing, the way it all comes together is mind-blowing, and everything he does is mind-blowing, and he's just the greatest artist, not only of our generation, but ever, and oh my god! But seriously, but anyways, back to Mirror. Like, I choose me, I'm sorry, the way he repeats that, like, what I really feel from that. You know, you look on the cover of this album, Kendrick is wearing the crown of thorns. You think about The Heart Part 5, what he's talking about there. Always wanting to feel like he's a voice of the streets and wanting to feel like he's speaking back to the streets and giving them advice and trying to lift people up. And that's, you can tell that's been his mission throughout a lot of his careers. He's kind of felt like this savior figure for the streets, for the hood, for his community. He feels like he can lift people up. He can help break the cycle that happens in those communities and those environments. And he feels like he can guide people to a brighter future. And then on The Heart Part 5, he's kind of confronting the fact that that hasn't happened. Like, I've been trying to do this my whole career. I thought I could do this, but things are still the same. They haven't changed. And that's what made The Heart Part 5 so powerful. And he's still confronting that, not as directly, but a lot on this album is still related to that idea of, and that's why on the cover he's wearing the crown of thorns, right? It's like, I've seen myself as this savior figure. Like, I feel like I have the knowledge, like, I come from these communities, I know about them, but I've made it out. I've seen, I've seen what's on the other side. Looking back into my community, I see the cycle of violence going on. I see what's going wrong. I see what needs to change, and I want everyone to listen to me so I can help, again, guide us to a brighter future, but it keeps not happening. All this effort I'm putting in is for nothing. Maybe I'm not a savior. Maybe I'm just a mortal man. That was corny also. But maybe I need to stop seeing myself as a godlike figure, as a speaker for God. Maybe I need to sit down and be humble. That was corny again. But, and on this song, I feel like what he's really saying when he says, I choose me, I'm sorry, I feel like he's saying, I've given you guys everything I have. I've tried in every way to uplift my community, to be this savior figure, but I need to accept I'm not that. I am a single person. I don't have the power to change the world in the way that I wish I do. And so I'm just going to take a step back from everything, from all of modern society, and I'm just going to choose myself, choose my family, work on me, and I can't worry about anything else. Because there's a lot on this album too where he talks about, you know, not being on social media, like being disconnected from the internet, not keeping up with, again, just all this shit in modern society. And he says at one point, like, he's protecting his soul. And I really feel that, because I don't know about you guys, people who are my age, but man, I really feel like growing up in like the internet, social media age, I feel fucked up by it. I know a lot of other people who feel fucked up by it. And when I look around at me, I feel like the whole world's been fucked up by it. And I really do feel like, I mean, I don't necessarily believe in a soul, but in a metaphysical, philosophical sense, I do 100% agree that social media and the internet and just a lot of shit in modern society, I do feel like it's corrupting our souls 100%. And, you know, him saying, like, I'm stepping away from all this to protect my own soul, I 100% get that. And, like, I feel like that's why he's saying, I choose me, I'm sorry. Like, I've tried to stay in this society. I've tried to do my part. I've tried to help fix it. But I've seen now it's not going to happen. And I just have to choose myself. Like, I can't change the world, but I can change me. And I got enough problems on my own. I've been unfaithful in my relationships. I've been ignorant towards members of my own family. I have this massive ego of thinking I'm above everyone else in the rap game. I'm above everyone else in the sense that I know better than other people about what's best for them. I'm better than everyone else in the sense that I am literally a voice for God and a savior of my community. And so, you know, he's talking about all this, and he's just realizing, like, I have a lot of problems. I need to work on myself. There's problems out there, and there's problems in here. I can only fight one battle, so I choose me. I'm sorry. And man, I've gotten so much from this album in one listen, I can only imagine what I'm gonna get on subsequent listens. And, like, I also just can't believe right now that this video is gonna be like an hour long. And I literally started this thing off by saying, it's not gonna be that long. I should have known better. I should have known better. Of course, if you know me, guys, I always go way longer than I claim I'm gonna go. But about a Kendrick album, I should have known. There was no way I was gonna keep my fucking mouth shut about a Kendrick album. Of course, I was gonna talk about a Kendrick album for an hour, even if it was only off of one listen. Like, there was no way it was gonna be any other way but that. Like, god damn. I mean, not to be that guy, because this is such, like, of course, but this is album of the year. Like, sure, it's May, but who's gonna drop a better album than this? I haven't heard a better album than this since Kendrick dropped To Pimp a Butterfly, you know? Like, nobody can top Kendrick except Kendrick. And I don't even know if I'd put To Pimp a Butterfly over this. They might be on the same level. I don't know. Let me listen to it some more and find out. But the point is, guys, this is amazing. This is incredible. I am so moved. That was the best first listening experience I've had. Besides To Pimp a Butterfly, those are the two best. Kendrick has given me the two best listening experiences of my life. I am so happy. I feel so energized. I feel so alive. I love life. I love music. I love Kendrick Lamar. I love you, Kendrick. Seriously, I fucking love that guy. I don't know him, but as an artist, he's given more to me, more to the world. Bro, Like, for someone I don't know, man, what an impact that guy's had on my life. I just appreciate his music so much. I just do. And this album, I could not be more satisfied. Clearly, I could not be more satisfied. I hope that a lot of you guys are feeling the way I do, because I'm so happy, I'm so excited, so satisfied, and I just want everyone else to feel this way. I mean, it's obviously okay if you don't feel the same, if you're not as big on it, if you just kind of like it, if you think it's really good but not great, if you think it's meh, if you think it's bad. You're allowed to feel however you want, but just, I feel so good, and I just want other people to feel this way, you know? I love people, man. All hippie shit. I love you guys. Woo! I hope you all feel good. I'm losing my mind. I'm going crazy. Wu-Tang forever, baby. Woo! I'm just gonna end this video. Peace! Yeah! Yeah.